Welcome to the Mom Founders Table. Pull up a chair and join me every week as I become your thought partner and help you lead to create change. I'm your host, Kelsey Kenry, entrepreneur, millionaire mom of three, and strategic business coach for established mom entrepreneurs. Every week, you will get tactical guidance to apply to your business, leadership, and life that will help you further your true success while also being invited into a new way of thinking and being that creates true freedom. I'm here to call you out and call you up, so take a seat and let's begin. Welcome back to another episode of the Mom Founders Table. We're going to talk about the reality of how markets are shifting, and we're going to bring the chatter that is happening behind the scenes in a lot of places to the forefront and tell you what you can actually do about it. So this is pretty funny because I have actually been on the Instagram platform specifically for, I want to say 13 years. Oh my gosh, that makes me feel really old. So it has been really interesting to see how things have shifted, how things have changed. Truthfully, when I started on Instagram, I almost used it as like my journal. If you scroll all the way back, I have never archived any of my posts, first of all. If you scroll all the way back, you will see like the sepia with the border, like picture of one of my dogs, 100%. But it has been cool to be on the platform and, for better or for worse, see all of the changes that have come about and see like what people have really been able to create utilizing this platform. And it's really interesting because I think it's just because I've been around for so long that there's almost this air of entitlement around social media marketing. And it's like, you guys, this is a free marketing platform. Like before social media, you were knocking on doors, you were going to networking events, you were, paying for advertisement in other places. And so I really think, even though we all hate the algorithm, I hope every single day for the chronological timeline to come back. The truth is that it's still free marketing. Like it's still a free marketing platform. And I have built everything that I've built primarily with Instagram and in person, right? And so I think that people who came onto Instagram in the last few years, and especially during the pandemic, got a sense of Instagram it was not real, right? It was not sustainable. And that's why, sadly, I'm seeing this like downturn in just people that are going back to 9-to-5 jobs and quitting entrepreneurship. But all that being said, marketing a few years ago, during the pandemic especially, felt easier. The Instagram platform, I would say even like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was completely different, right? Now, every market is saturated. You can search on this Instagram platform and find a zillion different people that do the same thing, really any social platform at this point, right? And I've been on all of them. Truthfully, the only one that I don't really go on is TikTok, even though we do, we post there, but I personally am just, Instagram has always been my home base. It was just easier. It was easier to get business. It was easier to get inquiries. And then we saw this rise during the pandemic. Every market became saturated. And then it's like, okay, now this feels like swimming upstream. Now it feels like shouting into a void. Now it feels like, why is this not happening at the pace maybe that it did before, right? And so that's where a lot of people are finding themselves either quitting or, frustrated or investing so much into marketing and maybe not even seeing the results that they want from that. So here's the truth. The way we market business is and has changed. And it's not a bad thing, because before, It was about really posting whatever, whenever, driving sales, being, loud and bold and all of those things, and just like getting in front of as many people as possible. And now it's shifted to where there's more trust that needs to be built. There is more connection that people want. And the cause of this is because people have so many choices. And people buy from people, as they always have, that they know, like, and trust. But there's an added piece of this. People want you to help make the decision for them because it feels overwhelming to hire anybody when you go and you search and there's 13 choices, right? Every time, this is like a real story of that. Every single time I need a recommendation for something for our house or something local, I will go in our neighborhood Facebook group and I will ask, like, oh, does anybody have a recommendation for this? And of course, like 10 people answer, it's 10 different recommendations. And I'm like so overwhelmed that I just don't talk to any of that. Like, I like wait till I have to, or truthfully, I'll be like, Eric, can you handle this? But that is like, we have decision fatigue, right? We have fatigue of being like there's 9 million options in front of us at our feet. Like, we can get anything. Amazon will deliver anything like same day at this point. Like, it's just so much. And so the people that are breaking through the noise, the people who are thriving in what some are saying is an economic downturn, the people that are really shining, the people who have sustained year over year, are the people that are leading with relationships, leading with connection, the people who are clear in who they are, who they serve, what they do, and that is very apparent in their marketing. People don't want more noise. People don't want more noise. People want to feel seen. They want to feel heard. They want to feel understood. Content at this point has to make people feel something, especially if we want them to move, right? Especially if we want them to make a move. So even the shift in like getting people off a platform into something else, let's say like a lead magnet or a webinar or a class, is requiring more effort, right? And it's requiring more effort again because people are like, why should I? People are smarter. People are really, they've been burned before. And so it's really important for us to consider this in our messaging and in our marketing moving forward so that you don't fall behind. And I feel really fortunate to be one of those people that has stayed relevant. And I think it's because I've always prioritized relationships and customer service and honestly just doing good work behind the scenes as well. So let's talk about why loud and more and posting 3 times a day, or let's talk about why this doesn't necessarily work anymore. People are, again, just overwhelmed from the amount of options. People are overwhelmed just in the visuals, right? So Instagram went from being a photo platform to primarily a video-based platform. And so there is so much that is happening that is like our brains are like, whoa, okay, there's a lot of visuals here. Things are moving. There's text. I have to read the overlay of the text. Then I have to read the captions. And it's a lot, right? People are fatigued. A lot of people are going on the Instagram platform specifically to be entertained, right? They're just there. And that's why you've really seen a rise in stuff. I know for me personally, it's like parenting content and like millennial based content that makes me laugh. So that's because when I'm on that platform, I don't want to be like shouted at. I want to feel seen, right? And so loud doesn't work anymore, but we can still be bold in what we stand for. This is where we really have to lean into our verbiage and our messaging and the language that we're using, because the language that we use is what is going to create emotional resonance for people. And emotional resonance is what is going to build trust and authority. right? Because it's one thing to position yourself as an authority via teaching and educating and client proof. It's another thing to build trust, and trust is built through connection. Trust is built through consistency. Trust is built through our words and through our actions. And so thinking about how we are showing those things and if those things are accurately being portrayed through our marketing. There is also a huge rise in simplicity and depth, right? So the people that have continued to grow on social media platforms are our storytellers, are the people that bring us behind the scenes, are the people who are vulnerable, the people who share the things that not everybody is willing to share. And again, this really ties back to making people feel seen, heard, and understood. Because that is, if there is one thing that your marketing should do, it should be that. Because if people can just keep scrolling, that means it doesn't resonate with them. And if it doesn't resonate with them, they're absolutely not going to read a caption, much less follow whatever your CTA is, right? So there has been just a bigger rise in people are consuming either like mindless content, and then from mindless content, they're not taking any action from there. And I always like to tell people this because a lot of people are so obsessed with like the vanity metrics of social media. So like even for me, I had like 27,000 followers at one point, and I think I'm down to like 17,000 now. And I just keep deleting people, honestly. And what's interesting though is that I have, 10,000 followers less, but my business is like, I don't know, triple, quadruple what it was when I had 27,000. So vanity metrics are there, but like a lot of people follow accounts. Like I was just sharing, okay, I watch like millennial based content that's like, all the ones where it's like me in 2006 or whatever, and she's got like the Hollister outfit on and the blue eyeshadow and all the things. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's hilarious. So I watch those things, but I'm not reading the caption. I'm not going to the profile. I'm not taking any sort of next step. And so a lot of these big accounts that are more entertainment accounts, yes, they're actually making their money from things like brand deals because their thing is visibility. As a business, yes, you need visibility, but like your primary focus can't be visibility and audience growth because you can have a really big platform with a bunch of unengaged people, right? And you can have a really big platform that does nothing. And so what's funny is if like you go to my Instagram, you don't see a lot of engagement on my posts. And that's because people will DM me, people will message me, people will go straight to book a discovery call. And that's because my content is built to inspire people to take action. And so this is where like the depth and truly knowing your ideal client and speaking to them in a way that makes them feel seen, heard, and understood. This is the difference in content that entertains versus content that pulls somebody deeper. And so when we're talking about business, we want content that pulls somebody deeper. We want them to see a reel that is us speaking or sharing a story that then says, oh my gosh, like this story is amazing, or I'm in this position right now. I wonder what else like she has where she's talking about this, right? So we want content that does that. We don't want them to just watch it and keep it moving. And so prioritizing depth, prioritizing specificity, prioritizing storytelling is really going to be important. And so the new role of marketing is really to position you as the obvious choice. Right. So now with there being such oversaturation across all industries, right, your positioning, and a lot of people have really leaned on like branding for this because the visuals do matter, right? Because that's how our brain remembers things, but also our positioning is really important. And our positioning is all about how we are portrayed, right? So for me, if I had to choose one position, it's like I am the go-to business coach for established entrepreneurial moms. I am the coach that people come to when they've built something great and they want to expand it more, but they want to do that without sacrificing more of their time, continuing to put their workouts or their marriage on the back burner. I am the person that knows how to expand businesses bigger, specifically women who are moms. And so what your positioning is needs to be specific. And it needs to be clear. It needs to be, people need to see that in your content. And I cannot say the word specific enough because general content is always going to fall flat. And so this should be your goal, right? Your goal in creating your marketing should be about having very clear messaging that differentiates you from other people in your industry and positions you as the obvious choice for your ideal client. Not for everyone, for your ideal client. So here's where people are getting the best return on investment right now. Because when it comes to marketing, this is obviously a huge industry as a whole for a reason, because people love to outsource marketing. And I get it. Nobody wants to spend, I don't want to spend my all day, every day doing my own marketing. I have a marketing team as well. And with that, when we completely outsource without foundation, which is our messaging, then we're going to not see the return. And so the greatest return right now in marketing for businesses is primarily coming from the storytelling, the thought leadership. The best return on investment right now is coming from our storytellers, from people who are willing to be seen, from people who are willing to speak up about things that are different. This is like showcasing your values and your key differentiators. It is people that are willing to stay the course and not focus on chasing every single trend, but instead drive everything towards building a relationship. It's about connectedness. It's about really being able to speak to that one person. And again, being specific and making people feel seen, heard, and understood. Emotional resonance. Marketing should make you feel something. People will keep scrolling if it makes them feel nothing. That could be excited, that could be fun, that could be sad, that could be like, shit, she called me out, whatever the thing is. And so I would encourage you in your marketing and with your marketing team, don't be afraid to ask questions if you are outsourcing your marketing. And your messaging needs to be clean and clear and tight. And if you have not updated your messaging, if you've never done your messaging, which you probably haven't to the extent that I will help clients do it with, this has to be updated. It can be extremely exhausting to try to keep up with all the marketing trends. This is why we get help with our marketing. This is why we develop messaging. But I will tell you this, I promise you that when you have clear messaging and when you focus on building relationships and telling stories and sharing things that some people wouldn't, whether that is a polarizing truth, whether that is you busting myths, whether that is you sharing your own story, those are going to be the things that really attract people to you. So if you feel like you're shouting and nobody's listening, if you feel exhausted from trying to keep up with all the marketing trends, if you are just frustrated and want your marketing to actually feed your sales funnel, because that again is the purpose. Like, why are we creating marketing? Why do we market? We market to attract buyers, right? And again, just like I was explaining in the different types of content, if our marketing is not feeding our sales funnel, that is a problem. So I'm going to actually be breaking down how to plan, how to market, and how to sell, and the changes that businesses need to be making to stay relevant in the way that marketing has shifted, and so much more in my free upcoming live masterclass, Your Most Profitable Quarter Yet. These are the keys to your most profitable quarter and really your profitability as a business overall. These are the things that businesses are missing. I'm going through what is actually working for businesses right now. I'm going through exactly the tweaks that you need to make in your messaging, in your marketing. And this is going to allow you to pull in more sales and to really see that there's not necessarily more hours of work that need to go on your plate, but it's about being smarter. It's about being more efficient. So I hope that if you are running a business right now and you want to make sure that you stay relevant, that you are able to develop this emotional resonance with people, and that you can market and sell to continue to scale your business, I hope that you will join me at your most profitable quarter yet. We will put the link in the show notes for that, and I'll see you there.